monetary policy is one of the three tools that we as a people have to control our economy. One is fiscal policy, what we spend as a people through our Congress and the like. Congress controls the purse strings, and many activists and many people at the local level can quote verse how much money is being spent on a particular program. That's important to work on trying to create more sane and humane budget priorities. That's only one of the legs to the stool, though, of ways that people can change and affect public policy. The second is through taxes, creating more just tax system. And there's many groups out there, nonprofits, that work on that. And AFSC does both fiscal and tax issues. But there's this third leg that most of us are unaware of and have not utilized. That's monetary policy, specifically the creation and circulation of the money that we use in our country. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution gives us, we the people, the power and the authority to coin our own money. Coin is a verb, meaning we have got the capability to produce the amount of money we need to meet our needs. And we have not utilized that. We have not taken advantage of that. We have handed over that authority and that power that was given to we the people to banks. And banks, certainly since the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, but even before that, have had the exclusive power and authority to print and circulate money, and they do it for their own ends, to enrich banks, banksters, and the like. So it's been the Fed that has had this exclusive authority, and they've given it to banks as well, to print and circulate money at our own peril. So much of what we have seen since the 2008 economic crisis goes back at root to the problem of we have not had our hand on the spigot of controlling the flow of money. It's been banks. And when you increase the flow, then things happen. When you decrease the flow, then other things happen that are oftentimes bad. So part of what we're trying to do is help people understand through, we have a calendar that we produce weekly on monetary literacy, and we do educational programs. We just had a program last week where we invited someone from the local Federal Reserve Bank. Cleveland is one of 12 locations around the country that have Federal Reserve Bank. Well, what the heck does the Fed do? Most people aren't aware of it. So we had someone talk about the Fed, and we've been meeting, we've had book discussions, have criticized and synthesized a number of works and looked at a number of films to try to educate ourselves to get on the other side of the learning curve of monetary issues so that we can be more educated citizens when it comes to trying to pressure our elected representatives. And toward that end, on this issue of monetary reform, we've been promoting a bill, H.R. 2990, that has been introduced a couple of sessions now, that would democratize our money system by specifically doing three things. One, it would make the Federal Reserve totally a democratic institution. Because right now, if you look in your phone book where there's a Federal Reserve Bank, you will not find that in the business or in the government section. You will find it in the business section. And that's because it's a private business, a private entity. So this would, one part of the bill would democratize the Fed. Second, it would publicly issue, it would give the authority to people to print our own money as a country, like what President Lincoln did via greenbacks during the Civil War. So it would give us as a people, as a country, the ability to spend money into circulation to meet the needs that we think are important and not the needs that the banks feel are important, which they felt over the past 10 to 20 years that derivatives and all these bizarre hedge funds were important to spend money on, speculate money on, instead of meeting the infrastructure needs. American Association of Architects and Engineers says we have $2.4 trillion in just basic infrastructure that needs repaired. Right now, when we need that kind of money and we don't have it, we go and borrow it and have to pay interest on it when we could be producing it ourselves. So by doing that, we would create 7 million jobs, debt-free and interest-free, to repair our nation's infrastructure as well as our education and healthcare system. You know, the issues of privatization is one that is recurring as as being problematic all over this country. Because when you privatize anything, you lose control over it. Never mind the economic disadvantages of usually costs increase and service decreases and public employees get laid off. But there's the whole issue of democracy, of losing control, the right to decide when that water system is privatized or when that road is privatized, no less. But when our money system has been privatized, as it has been for decades now, approaching over a century, the perils of that completely outweigh the perils associated with all these other forms of privatization. We have handed over the power to print and circulate money to this private entity. And so we have lost control over how we can spend our money.